Rhaenyra just uttered 4 words that changed everything. And House of the Dragon fans are not ready for what comes next. Because this Sunday, the Iron Throne is about to learn exactly what happens when a queen runs out of patience. The official trailer for episode 5 just dropped, and if you listen closely to what Rhaenyra says in it, you'll understand why so many fans are already bracing themselves. She looks directly into the chaos she's created and says, "My patience has its bounds." That's not just a throwaway line. That's a warning. And after everything we watched happen in episode 4, that warning feels less like a threat and more like a promise. Because right now, Rhaenyra isn't just losing battles. She's losing herself. And this coming episode might be the moment we watch her fully break. Let's talk about where we left off because it matters for what's coming. Aemond Hightower didn't just invade Tumbleton in the last episode. He humiliated it. He let his soldiers terrorize innocent people, and he used that violence to manipulate his own nephew, Daeron, into committing murder against someone who had done nothing wrong. That single moment mattered more than it seemed, because Daeron wasn't raised to be a killer. He was raised to believe he was better than everyone around him, and Aemond made sure of that. Watching that innocence get twisted in real time was uncomfortable, and it should be. That's the entire point. The Greens aren't just fighting a war anymore. They're corrupting the next generation to win it. And back in King's Landing, that news hit Rhaenyra like a blade to the chest. She sent Ulf and Hugh to gather intelligence, but what she got back wasn't information. It was proof that the people she's supposed to be protecting are being slaughtered, while she sits on a throne built on promises she can no longer keep. That's the moment everything shifted. Because up until now, Rhaenyra has been trying to rule with restraint. She's been trying to be better than the men fighting to destroy her. But restraint doesn't win wars. And after Tumbleton, something in her finally cracked. She stopped asking her council for guidance. She started giving orders. And the orders she's giving now aren't the orders of a queen trying to keep peace. They're the orders of a queen trying to survive. That's exactly why the trailer for episode 5 hits so hard. Because we finally see her say those words. My patience has its bounds. And when a woman who has spent this entire war trying to hold herself together finally says that out loud, you don't brace for diplomacy. You brace for fire. But Rhaenyra isn't the only one approaching a breaking point. The trailer also confirms something fans have been waiting weeks to see. Aemond Targaryen is alive. He's been recovering at Harrenhal under the watch of Alice Rivers, and what he says in this footage should terrify every single person still loyal to the Iron Throne. He looks at the woman treating his wounds and tells her that Rhaenyra has defiled their house, that she has diminished the throne itself. And then he says the 5 words that might define the rest of this season. She is no queen. Coming from anyone else, that would be propaganda. Coming from Aemond, a man who has already proven he's willing to burn entire villages to make a point, that's a declaration of war. And he's not the only one preparing for it. Criston Cole is shown rallying his forces, telling them they've endured much and that they will not lose heart. He promises they'll join the coming battle gloriously, that men will sing songs about what they're about to do. That kind of language isn't just motivational. It's the language of a man who knows people are about to die, and wants them to believe it means something. Cole has spent this entire season getting pushed toward his limit, and now he sounds like a man who's finally decided the only way out is through blood. So here's where things stand heading into Sunday. Rhaenyra is losing her grip on restraint. Aemond is back and more dangerous than ever. Criston Cole is preparing his men for a fight he may not walk away from. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, Aegon Targaryen is still recovering from wounds that nearly killed him, forced to rely on people he once looked down on just to survive long enough to fight again. Every major player in this war is standing at the edge of something they can't take back. And the trailer makes one thing very clear. Whatever happens next, there's no walking it back. Now let's talk about the storyline that might be the most quietly devastating development of this entire season, because it's one fans almost missed. During episode 4, there was a moment that seemed small on the surface but could completely reshape the back half of this war. Helaena Targaryen appears to be hiding a pregnancy. Think about what that actually means. This is a woman who has already lost a child to this war in the most horrifying way imaginable. A woman who has watched her family tear itself apart piece by piece. And now, in the middle of all this bloodshed, She might be carrying another life into a world that has shown her nothing but cruelty. If the show follows through on this, it changes everything about how we understand her arc going forward. Because Helaena has always been the quiet moral center of the Green faction, the one character who never asked for any of this. Watching her try to protect a new life while everyone around her burns the realm to the ground could become one of the most emotionally devastating threads of the entire season. And that ties directly into something else worth paying close attention to. Daeron Targaryen. Up until now, most fans assumed he was simply being raised under Aemond's influence as a soldier, upon being shaped into whatever the Hightowers needed him to be. But episode 4 made something painfully clear. Aemond isn't just training Daeron. He's grooming him to sit on the Iron Throne himself. That's not a small twist. That's a direct threat to Aegon's claim, to Aemond's claim, to the entire structure of the Green faction as fans have understood it. Daeron doesn't want to betray his own family. You can see that hesitation in the way he carries himself. But Aemond is a man who doesn't care what Daeron wants. He only cares what serves House Hightower. And if Aemond gets his way, the war for the Iron Throne might not even be a war between Rhaenyra and Aegon anymore. It might become a war within the Greens themselves, brother against brother, with Daeron caught directly in the middle of it. Then there's the secret that could destroy Rhaenyra from the inside. And it has nothing to do with the battlefield. During episode 4, Daemon discovered the truth about Rhaenyra, the missing rider bonded to the wild dragon sheepstealer. But instead of revealing it, he made a choice that could end up costing him everything. He killed an innocent shepherd and presented the body to Rhaenyra as proof, claiming that man had been sheepstealer's rider all along. He lied to the woman he's supposed to be fighting beside, to protect a secret that could shift the balance of dragons in this war. That kind of deception doesn't stay buried forever, especially not in a story built entirely on betrayal. When Rhaenyra eventually learns the truth, and she will, it won't just break her trust in Daemon. It could break something in their relationship that never gets repaired. In a war where trust is already the rarest resource left, losing it between the two people at the center of the Black faction could be the single most dangerous development of the entire season. And that fractured trust matters even more once you understand what's happening with Ulf and Hugh. These two men were given dragons, given power, given a place at Rhaenyra's table. But the way she's treated them since has been anything but grateful. Ulf isn't even allowed to move freely. Hugh has watched the people he loves suffer directly because of decisions made by the crown he's supposedly fighting for. Both men are standing at a breaking point, and breaking points in this story rarely end quietly. If either of them turns against Rhaenyra, and everything happening around them suggests that's exactly where this is heading, the Black faction doesn't just lose 2 soldiers. It loses 2 dragons. In a war where dragons decide everything, that kind of betrayal could be catastrophic. All of this is building towards something massive, and the trailer confirms it directly. Aegon appears at Rook's Rest, recovering, weakened but present. That location alone should make longtime fans sit up straight, because Rook's Rest has already proven itself to be one of the deadliest places in this entire war. And with Criston Cole rallying his men, with Aemond declaring Rhaenyra unfit to rule, with Daemon hiding secrets and Ulf and Hugh standing on the edge of betrayal, Episode 5 isn't just setting up another battle. It's setting up the moment where every single lie this season has been built on finally comes crashing down at once. And when that happens, there won't be a single character left in this story who walks away the same. Now let's talk about the moment that could define Rhaenyra's entire reign going forward, because everything happening around her right now points to one devastating outcome. She is a mother who has already buried a son to this war. She is a queen who has watched every promise she made about ruling with mercy collapse under the weight of betrayal after betrayal. And now, with Tumbleton burning behind her and her own allies beginning to turn, she stands at the edge of a decision that could define whether history remembers her as a rightful queen or as another Targaryen consumed by the same madness that has haunted her bloodline for generations. Because that's the real tragedy building here. This isn't a villain origin story. This is a woman who genuinely tried to be different, watching every door close around her one by one, until the only path left standing is the one she swore she would never take. And that brings us to Helaena, because if the show follows through on what episode 4 hinted at, her story could become the emotional gut punch of this entire season. A woman carrying new life into a war that has already stolen so much from her. If Rhaenyra, backed into a corner and desperate to prevent another Targaryen heir from threatening her claim, makes a move against that child, it won't just be a political decision. It will be the moment the story crosses a line it can never walk back from. Helaena has never asked for power. She has never asked for war. She has only ever tried to protect the people she loves. And if this season takes that away from her too, it will confirm something fans have feared since the very beginning. That in this war, even the innocent are never truly safe. Meanwhile, everything is converging toward Rook's Rest and Tumbleton at the same time, and both locations carry the same warning. Massive loss is coming. Criston Cole is a man who has already lost his faith, his purpose, and now appears ready to lose his life, standing opposite Roderick Dustin, a man equally prepared to die defending Rhaenyra's claim. When two men who have both accepted death walk onto the same battlefield, there is no version of that fight that ends quietly. And with Aegon still recovering, still forced to rely on people he once dismissed, his return to the fight, when it happens, will carry weight unlike anything we've seen from him this season. A man who once ruled through arrogance now has to earn his place back through survival alone. That transformation, however it unfolds, is going to be one of the most compelling arcs of the back half of this season. But underneath all of it, the most heartbreaking thread might be the one between Daemon and Rhaenyra. Two people who have loved each other through decades of chaos, who chose each other again and again despite every reason not to, now standing on opposite sides of a secret that could destroy everything they've built. When Rhaenyra finally learns the truth about what